Well, hello, 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 all you yokers. We're coming at you here. It is Tuesday, as it is usually with the Yoke Talk. But new time, new official time. We've made it official, not just a one-time thing. We definitely want to keep it consistent and not just be all over the place. So our new time officially is noon on Tuesday, noon Eastern. So maybe you're listening to this recorded and you're used to not being able to join us live. Hey, the time has changed. So maybe you can fit it into your schedule now and you can join us live. Who knows? We'd love to see you here with us live. But Pastor Paulus, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm having a good day today. I
Good day.
feel good.
Excellent.
Yeah, it
Excellent.
just listen. I woke up this morning and it was really hard for me to. Okay, people are gonna be like, oh, hard for you to work. You work from home. Yes, I do. I
Look, it's
understand.
a
Okay,
struggle.
it is a
People
struggle
do
sometimes.
people
I,
don't
I
know.
had to adjust, but here's the thing that happened. I was in bed, just trying to get out of bed, and my kitten Ella May, so adorable, just kept crawling up on my chest and lying down and purring like crazy. I couldn't get out of bed. I was just like, "Come on, like you can't do this." It was adorable. So, I'm having a good day though so far. So,
Excellent. Excellent.
how are you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Podcast is being run off of the super complicated way that we explained a few weeks ago from my alternate location this week. You guys are probably pretty familiar with it by now.
Mars.
But yeah, from live from Mars. Yep, you got me. But I actually had a little bit of a funny story. Not really a story, but just like a fun thing to mention. It's also a little sad. But so I forgot several important things on my travels this time. So Buzz, I want you to look right now at me and my setup, and I want you to figure out how much. Think about what I may have forgotten by what you can see right here.
I'm gonna guess like a razor of some sort, like a trimmer for your beard. Like
No,
it's not really
no,
uneven though.
no.
Okay, okay.
are
You
you
forgot your you
are
forgot
you
your
knocking
headphones.
my beard? Hello,
Yeah, gotta knock the
excuse
beard, dude.
you.
Baby face over here. So headphones.
Yes, I did forget my headphones.
All right, headphones. Um, Microphone looks good. Is there something
This isn't my
close?
microphone.
It's not your mic. It's the same exact thing though.
I know Ruby has the same one. It's just the USB
Oh
version.
my
But I
goodness.
forgot the Yeti that you gave me.
Oh,
I usually bring
okay.
the Yeti. I forgot the Yeti.
So is that the same mic that she uses for her stream?
Yes.
Oh, feels
Yes.
bad. Okay.
So I forgot the mic, forgot my headset. The headset honestly isn't a huge deal, and to I this might be the better solution anyway because it frees up a USB port on the laptop. I just
Right.
use my wireless earbuds. That's fine. Not a huge deal. Um, Other things that you wouldn't have noticed, I forgot an HDMI cable, which not a big deal. She had a spare here, so that was fine. Um, what else did I forget? I thought that was something else.
Shampoo.
Oh, I forgot my mouse pad. No, I remembered all my, like, clothes and stuff. Forgot a mouse pad, but we found a small one, so we good.
Okay.
But, yeah, so, like, there's 2 sides to this. There's the side that's like, I've become so comfortable traveling because I do it quite often, that I don't really make lists anymore. But I had gotten to the point where I didn't forget things. I didn't. Like, I
I
was
never
just
made lists.
comfortable with traveling, uh, I was confident, and I would remember everything without making a list or anything. But, this time, I think I was just a little too excited and, forgot multiple
I
things.
I one year I went to a youth camp. I was a chaperone. So I do grow a beard. If some of you don't know, it doesn't come in quickly, but I do grow a beard. And I forgot my razor, and it was starting to get a little bit long. So I used my wife's leg razor and Skintimate. Listen, I was smelling like berry fresh passion or whatever it was called. It was the pink one. I smelled great. That happened. and it hurt, and I had a lot of cuts in my face. I'll put it that way. Listen, they only have like 2 or 3 blades. I need the Mach. I don't have a Mach 3. I have a Pro Glide 5 or something. Pro Glide sponsor us. But anyways,
You don't
yeah.
use
So
Gillette?
huh?
You don't use
Oh,
Gillette?
maybe it is Gillette. No, Pro Glide is Gillette, isn't it? I think Pro
I don't
Glide is
I have
Gillette.
no idea.
I'm
No
pretty sure.
idea.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
pretty
just
sure.
asking because Gillette's like the meme. I don't even use Gillette, but
I think Gillette, the best a man can get. I mean,
right.
come on, right there, you know. So, but yeah,
Oh, man.
I usually remember most things when I go on a trip. I don't really make lists anymore. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going away for 3 days. You pack 59 pairs of socks, and then you pack the right amount of shirts and everything else. It's literally what I do.
I
Socks
do
don't
like
take
the
up that much
opposite.
room. Come on.
I usually don't pack many socks unless it's
I pack a
winter,
ton of
which it's
socks. You
getting
never
cold,
know,
so
dude. If you listen, if you step in water and you need socks, you're done.
true.
Done for.
It's very true. Yeah,
Have you?
one more little story,
Never mind.
before we
Just go on.
I
Go on.
don't know where you're going with that. One more little story. As you can see, I'm sitting in a DX Racer. Uh, this is hers as well.
Wait, you're
So
sitting in a different chair like
I was.
earlier today.
So I was, yes. So Boz and I were talking earlier today, making sure we had all our topics ready for the show. And I was sitting in a different chair. So usually I use this little basic desk chair that they have for me here. Um, but this time she gave me another chair that they had that was a little softer. So I was using that. But then I was finding that that chair, even though it was softer, it was not encouraging me to sit properly at all. So my posture was just really, really sucking.
Back can
So
get wrecked like that.
yes, yes. So I was like, "Can I get the other chair back?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then I hear her coming down the stairs with the chair. I'm like, "Okay, she's bringing the chair, cool." And then it seems like it's taking her a while. I'm like, "Why is it taking her so long to get down the stairs with the chair?" Because it's not a very big chair. The one that I thought she was bringing. And then I go and I look, and she's bringing the DX Racer down
Oh
the
my
stairs.
goodness. Feels bad. And they're heavy too. Like
They
DX
are, yeah.
races are
They're
not
heavy.
light. You know, that they got some pretty heavy duty stuff.
They
That's
are.
hilarious.
She tried to be quiet,
Oh, that's
she says.
adorable. I love it. I love
But
it.
yes,
That's great.
shout out to Ruby for providing, everything that I needed to, make the
Listen, you
yoke
need some
stock?
biceps to get those things
Yoke
down the
talk,
stairs.
still happen. She's the best. It
Oh,
was
man.
rolling down the stairs.
That's great.
Alrighty, but that's enough, stalling. It's not really stalling, just fun
We're
stories
not
before we get
stalling.
into the
There's no
show.
reason to
We're just
stall. We actually have
there's
a lot of topics today that we need to get through.
we
We
don't have
might
that much.
we might even end a little bit late.
We'll see.
We don't, you know, just say
Let's
it.
see. We'll
Just say
see.
it.
Alrighty. So let's see what we got today. We're gonna talk about how video games are more than likely, and like 90% chance, probably gonna be $70 from now on. I know we talked about
Okay.
that, like I think in the first episode of Yoke Talk.
Yeah,
Uh,
but we didn't know yet. There
yeah, it
was
wasn't
one game.
confirmed, and I think
Yeah.
it's good to bring the conversation back up. And then I wanted to revisit some things that I think we overlooked concerning the Xbox consoles and the controller compatibility with Xbox and PlayStation. Some interesting things that I learned of that I think are really important to the Xbox versus PlayStation topic that is ongoing right now. Boz, what else do we have in store today?
So we got the fact that Xbox once again they're going to be able to use their old controllers with the new console, which I still don't know how I feel about this yet, but PlayStation, you can use the old controllers, but only for PlayStation 4 games. However, you got to use the new controller for the PS5. We're going to be talking a little bit more, obviously, every week, guys. Epic and Apple. There was a judge who talked yesterday. We told you guys September 28th was going to be a day of a hearing. They had a hearing yesterday. We're going to tell you exactly, quote for quote, what that judge actually said. I'm excited
Which
about that
wasn't
one.
much, but
For me, it was hilarious.
Boz loves it.
We're gonna talk about how Among Us is so popular on Twitch. What happened with the future plans for Among Us. We're going to be talking about that. And also, there was a game that came out that made me very salty called No Man's Sky. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about No Man's Sky. But guys, the big topic today, really, that we're going to get into near the end of our stream is a balance. Because listen, we've been talking a lot about gaming stuff for the past 11, 12 weeks or so. We've been doing a lot of topics, and it's a lot of fun, but we can't just game together and know about games together, but we got to do life together as well. And so we're going to talk about the balance between work and rest, what that means, why you need rest, why you need to work. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And we're going to talk about a couple
There's
of
some other small things.
life stories that are small yet short, but we'll get into those in just a second. So don't forget, guys, did you already give them all the platforms that they can? You don't do that
No,
every week
no, but
anymore.
we no, we
You know
don't
what?
do that.
Don't worry about it. Just roll that
I'm ro
intro.
I'm rolling the intro. I forgot that little thing stays at the bottom. I noticed that last week,
Yeah.
and I did not come up with a solution, so it was there again. But maybe it'll be gone next week. We'll see. I mean, really, I guess I just need to play the intro. I just need to move the intro to the top of the sources. There we go. I fixed it.
What
Fixed it.
what
I would
what
play it
what what
again, but
what
the sound would
what
play again, so
okay.
I'm not going to.
I don't even know what happens at the bottom
But
of
it's
it.
fixed. It's fixed. It's fine.
At
It's great.
least it's fixed.
The names stay because I made them separate sources instead of being built into the graphic. Anyway, doesn't
But it
matter.
works.
Doesn't
It works. It looks cool.
No, it doesn't. It looks
I
like it's
think it
not supposed
does.
to be there. Anyway, video games are about to get more expensive as the console wars return. We talked about this in the first episode of Yoke Talk, like I was saying. Um, and now it is more or less confirmed, at least for Sony and PlayStation, because they have confirmed that games will be priced between $50 and $70. What are you doing? Do you have a he's holding up his finger. Do you have a is that I have a thought? Is that the I
No,
have a thought finger?
I'm pointing at the cursor.
Po Is that I don't think that's on is that on the screen?
Yes. It's
Oh,
on the stream.
oh, 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 apologies. Oh,
Okay, so
oh.
anyways, yeah, so
Gone now.
$70 games. We saw this coming. This was a big topic back when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came out. Like everybody thought it was going to happen. It was eventually going to happen. Inflation happens, and so prices of everything goes up. And it's been 7 years. Actually, it's been a
Mhm.
lot longer since
I think
we've seen.
15 years,
It's been 15 years
this
since
article
60.
mentioned.
Yeah. And that's a long time. Inflation, I don't know if you guys know, but it increases a lot year after year after year. This is not that big of a deal, to be completely honest. So I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think
My
it's
opinion.
fine. We talked a lot about it in the first episode, so I don't wanna, like, re-dive into all of that. We talked about how expensive games are to make and how, like, $60 really isn't that much, for being completely honest. Especially, think about how many hours you get out of a lot of games, especially a game like Skyrim or, like, some lengthy RPG. You are really getting your money's worth for a game like
Yeah,
that.
for real. And I used to it boils down to this. Like I think about it, and if I go to a nice restaurant, for me and my wife or something, let's just say we go to a nicer not nicer, but you go to like Olive Garden. That's not really nice, but you go to Olive Garden or something like that, and you buy like for 2 or 3 people, you're spending about $60 for about like what 30 minutes of food that eventually you're just gonna feel full afterwards and drive home and not think about it. For the same amount of money, I put over 1,000 hours into Skyrim. And so people
Right?
are like, "Oh, you buy too much video games. What do you buy? Fight me." Like, you know
Saying the guy that orders $17 breakfast.
okay, guys, every Sunday morning, listen to me. This is great. So there's a diner that we went to down the street back in July, the day after my birthday. And so me, Sarah, Mama Higgs, Eliza Higgs, Pastor Susie, Amanda, Winkar, we all went to this diner together because we had something to do that day, but we all went to this diner and it was really good. And so every single Sunday morning, I Uber it to my house. And it's Sunday morning. Like, it's my Sabbath. We're gonna talk about the rest later. And that's how I start my rest. 2 eggs, it's just potatoes.
Oh my
Come on
goodness.
now. Fruit, get my $17 worth. It's amazing. It's
All
so
right.
good.
Well,
It's so
back
good.
on topic. I didn't mean to derail us there, but I know you mentioned that before we went live, and I thought if there was ever a place to bring it up, it was right
It was
there.
right there. I don't know how we got on this, but it was right there. Moving along.
Because you were talking about people spending money on things they don't need.
That's right. I need that though. That's my rest. Balance between
Okay.
work and rest.
All right. So, interesting thing that this article mentions is says 9 in 10 gamers, according to a survey undertaken by G2A, 9 in 10 gamers believe a new video game should cost less than $60. Right? That both surprises me that so many people think that, but also I'm not surprised because the world we live in. But
I'm gonna come against this
sure.
poll for a second. It's not that people believe that they should cost less. It's that they want games to cost less. Like, that's what it boils
That's
down to.
yeah.
Nobody knows what goes into paying the people, paying the developer, making these like all the things that they do for thousands of hours. Thousands of hours. Look at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Sakurai hasn't slept for 20 years. Okay. He hasn't actually slept and he
Correct.
continues making new characters. It was $60. Yeah, there's DLC. I don't care about DLC. Let's get that out of the way.
But you're
Great
buying
game.
it.
I've put like 400 hours into that game. Worth 60. Worth it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure, worth 120. And people are that's the other thing. People are saying they shouldn't make it that much, but then they pay an extra $60 for the collector's edition to get a book.
And then they buy microtransactions.
And exactly. And then they say, "Well, we're spending too much money on video games." Don't spend the
Which
extra $60 on a
is
steel book.
another thing the article mentions actually. It says 59% say that gaming has become too expensive. Maybe it's because you're buying
Too
all
many
the
games.
DLC and cosmetics. Now,
If
don't
they're
get me
buying
wrong. I like my cosmetics, especially in Warframe. Been playing a lot of that. But there comes a point, guys.
you're
When you're
buying too
when you're
many League of
you're
Legends
paying
characters,
$20 for one skin.
Overwatch loot boxes. Stop it.
Stop.
Put your wallet back in your pocket.
Just
Like, I
stop.
mean, I listen, I've had things happen as well where I buy something, I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that. I
Mhm.
don't do it for cosmetics or anything. Cosmetics, I love getting them if I earn them, but if I'm buying them, I don't feel like I earned them, and then I don't care.
I
I
don't need
feel
to
like I
earn
should
my
earn
cosmetics.
them
I
through
just wanna look
points and
cool.
stuff like that. But, like, yeah, so, is gaming too expensive? Yeah, to an extent, if you're buying everything that comes out, but
Mhm.
if you like a game and there's another game that looks interesting, but you're not sure, don't buy it. Yeah, like, that's what it comes down to. Buy what you know you're gonna use and get some time and value out of. Don't buy a game that you might like for a week or 2 if you're not gonna get a good investment out of it.
Yeah,
That's what I would say.
I think another thing worth mentioning that the article touches on there at the end is the fact that free to play has become quite quite a
Huge.
thing now, especially because of Fortnite. We're seeing the new Halo multiplayer is going to be free to play. Warzone is free to play. Like, you're really going to say that you're bummed about spending $70 for a game when you're getting all these amazing games for free? Like,
These are good games too. They're not
like,
bad.
like, come on. Like, you play your games for free and then like buy a $70 great single player experience every now and then, you know? Like, it's not that bad. It's really
Yeah,
not. It's really
yeah,
not. But
yeah.
I think that leads us nicely into our next topic, where it's not really a topic that's like from an article or anything. It was just some things that I've learned about the Xbox and the PlayStation that I wanted to bring back up in the conversation. Things that we didn't really touch on in the past weeks, going about them. And it definitely pertains to value in gaming and getting your money's worth. So, uh, we talked about, I think we mentioned it very, very briefly, the fact that you can basically pay a subscription to get the Xbox consoles, and then the subscription comes with Game Pass. So do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
slightly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so they have two options. There's $25 a month for 2 years, gets you the Series S and Game Pass Ultimate, by the way. Um,
Right.
and then $35 a month gets you the normal Xbox Series X, the standard one, and
Not the ultimate? Oh, and okay.
and Game Pass Ultimate. Yep.
Okay.
So both of them come with Game Pass Ultimate, and it's just the different console that you're getting. So what I assumed was that the monthly, like what you're paying in the long term, was going to come out to be more than what you would pay um, if you just bought it outright. Because usually that's how these things work, right? They like you charge a little bit of interest, but you can use it now, you can play it now, and then you pay it off later.
Yep.
But actually, for the $25 a month for 2 years to get your Xbox Series S and Game Pass Ultimate, you save $60 over that
That's
2 years. Now, over 2 years, is $60 that much to save? Maybe not.
not a ton, but
But so Game Pass Ultimate for 2 years, $15 a month, and then like you're basically getting the Series S for 240 instead of 300.
hmm,
So you are actually paying less by doing that. And it's not even like you're renting the console. Like you own the console at the end of those 2 years. Like it's not like you have to give it back or anything. Like I if you plan on getting a Series S, do this. Like,
yeah,
especially if
for
you were
real.
like probably gonna get Game Pass as well. Like, there's no reason not to. You are
Yeah,
actually saving money by doing this. Now,
that's true.
the story is a little different with the Series X. They call this the All Access. By the way, I forgot to mention that. Both of these are called like the Xbox All Access thing. Um, and so the story's a little different. If you go with the Series X, you actually end up paying $80 more in the end, compared to saving $60.
Wow.
Again, not a huge deal, but that's what I would expect for both of them. And I'm very surprised that the Series S option actually undercuts it.
Yeah, Series S was really made for people. Everybody knows this. The Series S was made for people that want the new console, but they can't afford a higher model. Like that's literally what it was made for. I think over time there's going to be more restrictions that come with it. I do think so. I don't know what that's going to look like. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking after like 3 or 4 years, there's going to be something where it's like you kind of need the better console to be able to use this feature, whatever that's going to look like. But at the same time, hey, they're
It's a really great value.
it's not a bad value.
It's a really great
I'm
value.
not going to say it's a bad value. It's not. I agree with it fully? No, not necessarily, but I do think it's a good value. I'll always say that. So
And
for sure.
River brings up in the chat, it says not all Xbox games are coming to PC. Or sorry, he says aren't most Xbox games coming to PC?
Yes,
Yes, they are.
but
But the consoles have never been for the PC people. I think for a long time, like consoles have not been about trying to win back PC people. But PC people are PC people, and they're probably just going to stay there. Um, this this option, especially the Series S, is for people who are getting into gaming, or maybe they're not super hardcore gamers, but they just want a simple, cheap way to game. And this is the best gaming experience that you will get for the money, hands down.
and think about it this way. So we can say all we want. Like I'm not an Xbox guy, right? I love Sony. People know that. But here's the thing about it. Even though all of the games that are on Xbox are coming to PC, a $500 gaming system is going to be able to play the same games that your PC, which could cost up to
Mhm.
$3,000. Obviously, you don't need $3,000 PC. Mine isn't worth that much, but mine is my PC is worth more than $500 when it was built, right? You have all of the parts that go into it. Some people just don't have the ability to make a PC that can actually game. Because if you make a $500 PC, it's not gonna be able to game all that well. You're not gonna be able to play
I mean, you will be able to play things. It's just
Among
not going to be
Us
a great experience.
Among Us.
No, you'd be able to like play Fortnite on low
On
at
low,
least 30 frames per second.
on low,
It
on
would be
low.
playable, but
Yes, but it would be rough. But like bigger games like Warzone, forget about it. Like you're
yeah, forget about it.
forget about it. You just
Forget about
there's just
Forget about it.
so the whole point of consoles is yes, there are console people for sure. I used to be a console person until I got a PC. I still love my consoles and stuff like that. Love the Switch and whatnot. But the whole thing is there's just a lot of people that can't afford a PC. So it makes sense why Microsoft would continue coming out with consoles because and they already stated this was in an article 2 days ago. It's not on our list today, but Xbox is planning for the next gen console already. They already said they're going to come out with another one.
Maybe.
This is not the last generation. It's fine. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's
So
smart.
yeah, next topic that I wanted to bring up with the Xbox versus PlayStation is the topic of controllers. So I actually didn't know this, but you are going to be able to use your old Xbox One controllers with the new Xbox consoles.
Yep.
I think that's incredible. You know, controllers are expensive. They're like $60, $70 a pop, depending on the controller you go with. And not having to rebuy like a set of controllers is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me because PlayStation does and does not allow you to use your old controllers. So and this is where like this should trigger you, honestly. Like I think
It it
if
doesn't,
I
but
was a
I'll say
Sony
why.
fan, I would be triggered. So they allow you to use your old PlayStation 4 controllers with the PlayStation 5, but only to play PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation 5.
Yep.
There's absolutely no reason why they cannot just flip a switch and let you use your PlayStation 4 controllers with PlayStation 5 games.
So here's my thought on it. I'm not triggered by it necessarily. I think Xbox plan for marketing once again really good, right? They are allowing gamers at the cheapest price possible be able to game. That's essentially what their whole market plan was for this generation. With the Xbox Series S, with everything Game Pass, they are allowing gamers to play at their cheapest. Sony didn't do that. Sony's doing what every console has ever done.
But that doesn't
Ever,
mean it's the way it should
ever.
be.
Maybe not, but they will make more money off of their console and their controllers than Xbox will because people are going to be forced to buy the new controllers. Honestly, both consoles are already sold out everywhere. I don't think I think the console wars at this point it needs to end in my personal opinion, but the
Yeah,
thing is one way or another it's all about marketing. How much money do you want to make, or what is your end goal? I think Microsoft's end goal was to gain back as many people as they lost over the past generation, because they lost a lot of people, let's be honest. And I think they're going to start drawing them back in with the cheaper stuff that they're trying to drive at. Whereas PlayStation is trying to keep their people, yet they're going to make a lot of money by doing it. Like, for example, the digital edition, it's $400. It's $100 more, but it is better than the Xbox S and graphics and everything else that it has inside the system. But also, you can only buy games on the PlayStation Store. PlayStation will make all of the money off of that.
but
So
does making the most money mean you win?
it might that well, let's be honest here.
Let's talk about winning. I
Ever since day one,
mean,
that has been what winning is. And this is why I hate console wars, because honestly, if you're enjoying what you're playing, why does it matter if Seraph is an Xbox person and he's enjoying what he's playing, and I'm a Sony person and I'm enjoying what I'm playing? What
tell you what the
what,
problem is, the fact that we
what does it
can't play
matter?
together.
Crossplay
But
is
we're
pretty
moving towards a cross-play world, and I'm very
crossplay is
happy
pretty
with that.
pretty it's pretty everywhere now.
But yeah, so Microsoft is just doing everything they can to be consumer friendly, and I think that's amazing. And I
Shock
hope
and
it.
Toast, you're right. I just want to throw this out there. Sorry. Shock Toast is right.
Yeah,
However, you needed the Wii U controller for certain games. You did.
yeah, and like the consoles come with a controller, so like
Yeah.
the new PlayStation 5 controller, it has some new tech in it.
Yep.
That's not like that's not completely um, just a non-factor, but it comes with the console, so you get one already. So if there's a game that you want to play that needs those features, well, you have a controller.
Yep.
But you want to invite some friends over, play some local multiplayer stuff if those really even exist anymore. But
Yeah.
you can use your old PS4 controllers, and a cat has appeared in my laps.
Piper has appeared.
Piper has
Um,
appeared. He has
but
come.
uh, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, and I think that's a great point. Playing LAN now. Let's be honest, it's Smash Brothers. Playing LAN is pretty gone for the most part. So,
Yeah.
but
But
for the
I just
most
wanted to
part,
bring those things up because I thought they were really interesting and they definitely play a part in people's decisions and what
for
they'll be
sure.
going with. Like Boz mentioned, doesn't matter which one you go with, but I do think there's a place for both and they're gonna appeal to different people. So
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. But I just thought those things were super interesting and I didn't know about them. I did see somebody in the chat real quick before we move on. Big Nate mentioned it's not just controllers, it's all Xbox One accessories are going to be
Mm,
compatible with the new console.
true.
So any sort of adapters or anything that you may have used will be
Except for the Connect.
except for the Connect.
Except for the Connect.
Well, that
It's not
that,
needed.
that needed today.
Oh, did you hear, by the way?
Really
So
cool tech, but
two pieces of cool information. So the PlayStation 5 VR, the new headset PlayStation is coming out with, is apparently going to do the same thing as Oculus has been doing. Like you're going to be able to not have sensors and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
thought that was pretty cool. It's something that they didn't announce it, but it's part of their patent that they have going on right now. And the other thing we wanted to make you guys aware of, if you did happen to land a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or Xbox Series X or S or the PlayStation digital version, whatever, any of
Any
those
new
things,
console.
any new console. I was just like lagging there hardcore.
Yeah,
But anyways,
I saw it too.
regardless of all that, so with all of that being said, if you bought them on Amazon, you might not actually get them on day one. You probably got an email about it, and also Walmart has stated that they may have outsold themselves, so you might just not get one. So that's an oof, but they've already notified everybody that is not going to be getting one. Walmart has. Amazon, on the other hand, your pre-order is placed, but you just might not get it right away. So, and this is for both consoles. This is not one or the other.
Yeah.
So, just so you guys know.
Alrighty, let's blast through these next few topics so we have a good amount of time to talk about work and rest. Balls, I'll let you take this one since you're just so excited for those
I've
quotes that
this
you
is
love.
this is hilarious. Okay, so Epic and Apple, right? Epic, we've been saying this from day one. Epic is doing the right thing the wrong way. They're trying to change the economic system of iOS and they just blatantly went against their terms of service. We've been talking about all month that 9/28 on September 28th, 2020, there's going to be a hearing and there was yesterday. And
Nothing has been decided,
nothing
but
has been, well, the hearing isn't supposed to decide anything, but the judge kinda wrecked Epic, not gonna lie. And this is what the judge quoted. "You did something, you lied about it by omission, by not being forthcoming. That's the security issue. That's the security issue." And then they went on to say, "There are a lot of people in the public who consider you guys heroes for what you guys did, but it's still not honest. Epic, you screwed up, deal with it, play Fortnite on a different place, and let Apple do their thing because you can talk to them. We can be peaceful about stuff, but no, we got to go against society and be rebels and do everything. Don't be a rebel."
yeah,
The other thing that, oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
real quick. I just want to mention. I believe the security issue that the judge was referencing there is pertaining to basically Apple's reasoning in why they do what they do. It's to
Yep.
protect their users. It's for security. And I think what the judge is getting at is that this is a great example of why they do what they do because people will do things without telling you that they're not supposed to, and that's not okay. Like
Yeah.
now, this was something ultimately harmless, other than to Apple's wallet, but
Yep.
like there is a case to be made for the fact that this is why Apple does what they does. But you can go on. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely. So the next thing that the judge said, and I thought this was really good because they kind of brought up other ecosystems, I guess you can say. And it said, walled gardens have existed for decades, said the judge. Nintendo has a walled garden. Sony has a walled garden. Microsoft has a walled garden. What Apple's doing is not much different. It's hard to ignore the economics of the industry, which is what you're asking me to do. And so the judge is essentially saying, you're asking me to ignore something that you specifically did. Why? Okay, listen,
So
this
I have some thoughts.
Oh,
So I
I'm
I
triggered.
don't want to get too far into this because we do need to save time,
Yeah, I
but
know.
I disagree slightly with comparing Apple to those other companies. Um, and this is the example that I use. Um, I do think, are they all walled gardens to an extent? Sure. But I do think that Apple is like the extreme